I don't want to indict you nor make this sound like an attack, but here it is. We spend more time in the negative thinking and the judging and the decision-making against ourselves and against our neighbors, and we won't feed them the life of God. We won't feed them. We won't tell them. We won't say, you're okay. I love you. God loves you. There are some people that know that God loves you, and they say it and they go, they're religious fanatics. Of course they're religious fanatics. They'd have to be to say that. What's wrong with being a religious fanatic and knowing that God loves you? I'd take it. Because guess what you know? You know God. Guess what you get to be if you know God? God's friend. Guess what you get to be when you get to be God's friend? God's partner. Well, when you're a partner, you're a junior partner to start with. Then you get to be made a full-fledged member of the firm. And you get to enter into the co-creation with the Creator of us all. We get to enter into co-creation, and we take up positions and places in the worlds of spirit that we have grown accustomed to by our own spiritual upliftment. And that upliftment, and I'd like to get this real clear to you, is a 25-hour-a-day job, 8 days a week. If we just meet requirements, we fail. After we meet requirements, we say, and here's one for the road. Which road? The road into God. Most people go, here's one for the road, and they go out and wreck. The wrong type of spirit. But does it seem good in the situation? Yes, and appropriate, and everybody's doing it, and it can't be wrong. And then when you wreck your car, how come everybody doesn't come and be wrong with you? I don't know. I've often wondered about that. You'd think if they loved me, they'd come and share my hurt too. Yeah, but when you promote it for yourself, isn't the law that what you sow, so shall you reap? It didn't say what you sow, everybody else gets to reap. It doesn't say that. It says you do it, you get it. Here's the bad news. What you sow, you reap. Here's the good news. What you sow, you reap. It's like, how can you have good news and bad news on the same thing? Well, what are you sowing? Well, I'm sowing evil amongst what I think is good so I can have my way. What's the other thing you're sowing? I'm sowing deeds of good and thoughts of upliftment. Yeah, and quality thoughts if I'm going to think. And so we can come from the place of the will of God by being in God's will. And God's will is loving to all beings and being useful to all beings and serving all beings without, when do I get mine? You're getting yours by the serving. That may sound strange to you, but if you're going to serve to get it, you will never get it, because that's a negative thought of serving to get. And the positive one is serving, and the reward is there in that, because it comes out of that pure place. And you wonder why you can serve, and it's so perfect, and somebody else can do it, and it's so klutzy. Klutzy? Who got into my thoughts? Whoever did, thank you. That describes it. So we have almost eternally the challenge of which reality of spirit do we live in? The reflected reality out here, which is spirit in the natural world, or the unreflected but the real spirit inside. People that are listening now, and people that will be watching this later and listening, will get really mad about what I'm saying, because I'm telling them what they're doing as they're doing it, and they're reaching in, they're trying to find all sorts of justifications that I'm wrong, and they're feeling bad and judging and down inside. And the Bible said, judge not lest you be judged, so knock it off. Why judge? You don't know the history of all things. but participate in the aspect of serving that you're doing. In the serving that you're doing, you will grow and you will serve yourself. It comes automatically. Listen, it comes automatically. If you sow weeds, they grow automatically. Don't then go blame somebody else who's got a field full of beautiful wheat because yours is full of weeds, because they've done good work. You say, but I did exactly the same thing they did, physically. But inwardly, you were corrupt and turned and twisted. And you were negative and you judged, and nobody could tell by looking at your face because you smiled so beautifully and you were so spiritual, and then you did it to them. Now when it comes back to you, can't you take it? Say, I can take it. I don't want to take it. I know, but you got to take it. No, I'm not going to take it. Yeah, you are. No, I'm not. Fine, suit yourself. They take it. Why? Because you walk away and you leave them alone to it. They go into the bedroom, they close their door, and they're all by themselves, and they go, oh, God, this is killing me. Well, wise up. You just heard yourself tell you what you're doing. Wise up. Listen to yourself. The thing that's paramount that we know when we're deceiving and lying and cheating, and we know when we do that, and we also know when we are not doing that. We also know that, because when we're not doing that, the way we know is there's a wonderful, peaceful openness and loving and just reaching out to all people and saying, I love all of you. You go, how could you love everybody? Get in that place and find out. Well, I don't want to love everybody. Just love the one you got. I don't want to just love the one I got. I know you're on your way to hell. Enjoy the scenery. It's not been too good lately. I know. Now, if you want to see beautiful scenery, on the way to God, you can go through hell and it will still be beautiful. You can go through it. Don't stay in it. You don't have a reservation. You have passage. The traveler consciousness comes forward inside of you and comes into that place that is spirit and moves into that little space in between. And you start to feel the awakening of that. Sometimes when that awakening takes place, you're turned over to another type of spiritual teacher to take you through that you've sown and you're reaping. This new teacher is the best one to take you through that for you. And after you've harvested the thistles. In fact, somebody told me once, you know what a definition of a weed is? And I said, what? They said, a flower growing out of place. And I said, oh, well, maybe that's true. But that leads to all sorts of questions. Who planted the flower? Why didn't they plant more like it? Well, misery loves company, but so does spiritual beings love spiritual company. There is a statement in the Bible, and I'm going to close this with that. And it goes like this: choose you this day whom you will serve. But for me and my house, and that means inside of me, we serve the Lord. Berush Beshan.
John Rogers' closing words were Berush Beshan, which means the blessings already are. The blessings, the ideas, and the concepts which you've heard are just a small part of the abundance of material John Roger has shared with us over the years. If you would like a free book by John Roger, Journey of a Soul, call this number, 1-800-899-2665. You can send email to servicedesk@msia.org or write to That Which Is, Post Office Box 513935, Los Angeles, California, zip code 90051-1935. This has been That Which Is with John Roger. Thanks for joining us.